One fascinating example is that there is a hot spring in Japan where scientists have actually done experiments with, well, it's actually a process called silicification, where the silica that's dissolved in these hot volcanic spring waters precipitates out. And they were able to put wood samples into these hot springs, and within a very short period of time, I think it was something like 7 years, you had samples that were basically silicified. So in other words, this process of fossilisation doesn't require long periods of time. What it requires is the right kind of chemical environment, and then fossilisation and petrification can happen actually very rapidly. So when we look at a fossil today, and there it is, it's petrified or it's silicified or preserved in some other way, typically we think in terms of this having had to have taken a very long period of time. We see the pictures in textbooks that show an animal dying and sinking slowly to the floor of an ocean or a lake and slowly being buried, and then the process of fossilization happens very slowly over maybe thousands or even millions of years. Actually, this isn't how things happen in nature. If you're going to preserve things, first of all you need very rapid burial, but you also have rapid processes of fossilization. There's one very famous site in Brazil called the Santana Formation, where fossil fish have been recovered. In fact, if you go around some of the fossil shops, you'll often see fish for sale, and they've come from that Brazilian site. And these Brazilian fish have been studied by paleontologists. They're very well preserved. Even the soft tissues are preserved, the gill structures and so on. And by comparison with how modern fish decay, the scientists have been able to work out how quickly was this fish not only buried, but how quickly was it fossilized. They're preserved by a process of phosphatization. And they've come to the conclusion that some of these fish were actually being preserved maybe while they were still alive, that fossilization actually started while the fish was still alive and may have been completed in some cases within 5 hours. So fossilization can be incredibly rapid. In some cases it might even be the cause of death.